Good morning, guys. In South Louisiana today, the weather is absolutely perfect. I do believe probably close to 0% humidity. At least that's what it feels like. I haven't checked the weather. The sun is shining. There is not a cloud in the sky. It is a gorgeous day to be out and about. So, I'm on my way to a closing, which is always an amazing day. I'm so excited for the sellers. I represented the sellers on this one, but of course I'm always excited for the buyers as well. It's always a great day when keys exchange hands. So exciting, especially for the buyer to have their very own home. I absolutely love these days. So, let's talk about new construction. Brand new construction. Brand new construction is going up all over the place. Those of you who have driven anywhere lately will notice that what a couple of years ago was a rice field is now becoming a subdivision, and that is happening every day. It seems like every day I drive to Lafayette, Lake Charles, Broussard, Youngsville, all those places, and really, literally, what just a couple of years ago were all farms. I remember sugarcane fields being in these what are now subdivisions. So they are coming up so quickly, which is a huge advantage if you're a buyer and you're looking to buy a brand new home. There are literally thousands to choose from. These are some tips that you need to be thinking about if you're thinking about the possibility of buying a brand new build, which means it either just broke ground or it's in the process of being built. If you are thinking about buying a home that is in the process of being built or has just been completed, you need to think about that a lot differently. So if you're thinking about the possibility of buying a home that's in the process of being built, or it has completed construction and it's been for sale for a few weeks or a few months, these are some important tips to keep in mind. Number one, you must be pre-approved or have proof of funds if you're paying cash. You cannot submit an offer on a new build. I mean, you can submit an offer, but they're not going to look at it. Why? Because you have to be able to prove that A, if you're paying cash, that you have the money, and it's not some settlement that you're waiting on coming through in a few weeks or a few months. That is not going to fly. It needs to mean that if you're paying cash, the money is sitting in an account, and you can produce a proof of funds letter from whatever account it's in. So if it's in a retirement account, if it's in a checking account, if it's in a savings account, whatever the case may be, you will have to be able to prove that you have the cash, okay? If you're financing it, you need to have a pre-approval letter for the amount of the sale price. Because listen, 99% of the time, new construction, the price is set, it's not negotiable. So if the price is $200,000, you see this brand new house going up in a subdivision and you're interested in it, that's the price. The price is $200,000. So if you have a pre-approval letter for $195,000 and that's all you can pay, guess what? It's no use to submit an offer. They're not going to take it. Now, lots of times you will see in the description that the builder is offering allowances. So sometimes the builder will agree to pay a portion of the buyer's closing costs. So if it says that the buyer is willing to pay up to $5,000 in the closing costs, listen, they're not going to pay $6,000, they're not going to pay $7,000, they're going to pay $5,000. Very uncommon for a builder to negotiate because they know they're going to sell the house. That's the thing. They know they're going to sell it. A lot of times you'll see maybe if they've built maybe 10 or 20 houses in a particular subdivision and they're not selling them as quickly as they want to, you may have seen the price come from, let's say, $225,000 to $215,000. That price is set at $215,000. They're not going to negotiate. We could try. You can tell me, listen, Doral, I want you to submit an offer. We can try. We can try. I'm not saying never. Never say never, right? But the likelihood of it happening are slim to none. So on a new build, number one, first thing to do is get a pre-approval letter. for the amount that you're willing to spend. And remember, you don't want to just call a lender and get pre-approved. You want them to know what your monthly budget is for the house note, the insurance, and the taxes. So know that number. So if you're engaged, if you have a boyfriend that you're buying a house with, if you have a girlfriend that you're buying a house with, if you're buying it with your spouse, y'all sit down and have a hard conversation and say, what is our absolute max budget that we are willing to spend on a house per month, knowing that it's the note, the taxes, and the insurance. And whatever that number is, you tell that lender who is going to pre-approve you, this is all I want to get pre-approved for. Because the likelihood is you can get pre-approved for way more than your budget actually allows. And you do not want to start looking at houses over your budget. Because let's say you're pre-approved for $200,000 and you start looking at houses in the $250,000 range. I guarantee you, if you start shopping in the $250,000 range and then you have to buy a house in the $200,000 range, there is a huge difference in the upgrades and the features and the fanciness of that house. They're going to look different and you're going to feel like you settled. So if anything, if you're pre-approved for $200,000 and you don't really want to spend $200,000, go look at some houses that are $150,000 and $175,000. That way, when you finally do build up and go look at those houses that are a lot more expensive, you're going to see the difference. There is a difference, okay? So you don't want to go look at houses that are way above your budget. You don't want to do it. All right, so first off, get pre-approved or have proof of funds. Number two, this is the most important thing to do. You absolutely, as the buyer, want someone looking out for you to represent you in your best interest. We are all very selfish human beings. That's who we are. We're selfish. We always think about number one. So I guarantee you, when you're looking at a house that's being built by a builder, the builder's number one concern is themselves and how much can they make and how quickly can they get it done, and if they can cut corners, they're going to. That's human nature, all right? And if it's listed by a realtor, that listing agent's number one concern is the seller, not you. The listing agent's number one priority is herself or himself and the builder that they're representing, not you. You absolutely, as the buyer, need and want representation. If you hire me as your realtor, I'm not going to charge you a penny up front. I will get paid at the closing table by the listing agent's person that they're representing. They will cut my proceeds of my portion that they owe me from the proceeds of the sale. You're going to pay me nothing up front. Some realtors will charge a fee to you up front. We're all self-contracted. We can all do whatever we want to do as long as we follow the law, right? I do not do that. You're not going to pay me a penny up front. That's a guarantee, all right? And number two, you want representation. So when it's time to start looking at the house, start looking at the plumbing, the electrical, the paint, the roof, the foundation, all those things, you need a realtor on your side who you know, like, and trust, and who is going to do all those inspections with you, do all those final walkthroughs with you, do all those things, because I guarantee you, there is no such thing as a perfect house. I don't care if it's a brand new house. There are going to be issues. There are going to be things that you as the regular lay person do not know to look for. There are going to be things that the builder's going to say, like, for example, the builder's going to say, you don't need to have it inspected. I'm going to say, you absolutely 1,000% need to have it inspected. Because if it's brand new or if it's 100 years old, I guarantee you it's not perfect. There are things wrong with every single house. And when you have it inspected, that builder is then going to make sure that he fixes all those things and make sure that it's perfect before you move in. Because the worst thing that would happen would be you have a leaky pipe in the wall somewhere and you don't realize it till you move in and you start running the water and taking showers and washing dishes and doing all the things. Those are the kinds of things a trained inspector is going to look for. How's the HVAC system? How's the foundation? How's the roof? How's the plumbing? How's the electrical? Was everything done up to code, or does it look like corners were cut? An inspector has a trained eye, and they know what to look for, and they will tell you, listen, I know this builder, I know the kind of work ethic he has, I know if this is a good builder, I know if this builder has gotten in lots of trouble for cutting corners. Those are the kinds of things that you need to know and want to know as a buyer. So as a buyer, you absolutely have the right to be represented. You want to be represented. The worst thing to do is to get pre-approved and then go start driving through all those subdivisions and start talking to builders without representation. Because once you start talking to a builder, then you're kind of in a mess, okay? So choose a realtor, get pre-approved or have proof of funds, let them represent you. I absolutely would love to represent you, whether it's a new build, whether if you want to look at houses that have been built for a few years, or new builds, or a combination of the, it doesn't matter what. Remember this, if I represent you, as soon as you have your budget, I can take you to see houses anywhere that you want to go in South Louisiana, of course, anywhere in your budget. And I will make sure that you are absolutely 1,000% represented as the buyer on the buy side. So if you're looking at new construction, if you're looking at new houses, make sure that you follow all these steps. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure when you're ready, you give a realtor a chance that you know, like, and trust, but not just that. A realtor that you know, like, and trust, who has represented lots of buyers and who has gotten them to the closing table, okay? There's a difference in a busy realtor as opposed to someone who closes deals. So before you choose your realtor, if it's not me, if it's someone else, interview them and say, listen, how many in the last month, how many deals have you gotten under contract, but how many have actually made it to the closing table? You want a realtor who closes deals, right? There's plenty of yahoos out there. There's plenty of people out there that are doing it part-time. There's plenty of people out there who don't have a whole lot of common sense. There's plenty of people out there that aren't great at negotiating. There's plenty of people out there who lose deals on a regular basis. That's not who you want. You want someone who's going to get it to the closing table, but who gets you a very close to perfect house before you close on it, all right? So you want to keep all that in mind. You have a great, phenomenal Thursday. I am hoping it doesn't rain for a very long time and that the weather stays like this. It's looking to be a great summer, y'all. The no humidity in South Louisiana right now is absolutely the best. The absolute best weather. It's a great time to be a buyer, to be out looking at houses. It's an even better time to be a seller, and this is why. If you're thinking about selling, there are never enough houses on the market for the buyers that are pre-approved and or have cash and who are ready to buy. There are never enough houses to choose from. I don't care if it's in the city, if it's in the country, if it's on a lot of land, if it's not on a lot of land, there are never enough houses for sale. So if you're thinking about being a seller, it is absolutely a phenomenal time to be a seller. I'd love to represent you. Give me a call. Let's talk. Let's get a plan in place. And y'all take care. Remember this, as a buyer or as a seller, either now or in the future, there are never any stupid questions. Ask all your questions. Ask all your questions. If you ever get a chance, if you ever come across a realtor and you have lots of questions and they make you feel stupid or they make you feel small, run, because you should be asking hard questions. It could be buying a house or selling a house could be the single most important decision you make over the course of your life. So ask all the questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Y'all have a great day. Take care.